You straight up cuckooed that dude, bro. Oh my God.
You've got all your Charger gear on because
Feeling fresh as hell.
Well, you guys better enjoy it. The fans loved it.
You have to love what you're seeing on tape if you're a Chargers fan, especially for the future with Justin Herbert.
On the move and throws and touchdown.
Do this together.
Players, coaches, staff, fans, together we can create something truly special.
Stay tuned for some good content.
Hey guys, Wolldog here. Before we start the episode, I just wanted to say that we had some technical difficulties, but only on the video side of things. The audio side is perfectly fine. You'll hear the episode just as you normally would, but for whatever reason, we had issues with the video. So we had to kind of make up for it. So there is still picture, and you're still going to see video. We've still got the Craig experience. We've still got Bolt history for this episode. And you, like I said, you will still see picture. We just tried to have a little bit of fun with it since we were having some technical difficulties. So without further ado, here's the episode. Enjoy, and hope it makes you laugh as much as it made me laugh, because this is a pretty damn funny one. All right, gang. Welcome back to the Charger Chat. I'm your co-host, Wolldog, sitting with my buddies, Kev, Hug, and Duggan.
Happy Friday, guys.
And Kyle, the coach, Duggan.
Welcome back. Glad to have you.
All right. Well, how about that intro? We didn't get a chance to talk about it last episode, but we got some...
Dude, you know what season we're on?
Season 4 now.
We're on season 4 of Charger Chat. How crazy is that?
That is pretty wild. Yeah, I love
didn't think it was going to make it past 10 episodes, to be honest.
We had to add the video if you're watching on YouTube, the teabagging.
All the Bosa stuff, the weird little run that he did on the sideline.
And then the Justin Herbert mic'd up.
Yes. And the throw that he had against the Giants to Guyton. That'll just be a prolific throw that will live.
That'll be on season 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
We'll lock that in for sure.
Yeah, that's a lock in for sure. All right, gang. Well, it's Friday, so we've got to talk about some of the things that are going on in Charger World, but not necessarily in Charger World. Talking about Kia, our good listener Kia, who
RB alum,
our fellow RB alumni. Well,
yes.
She's current. She's not an alum. We are.
Well, she will be. She will be
technically.
Yeah. She's still in the mix.
Well, she's still
no, it's all right. You got to.
If she was an alum and trying to get Justin to go to prom with her, that'd be weird.
That would be pretty epic. I would actually have even more respect for that. I'm going to ask you to prom, and we're going to crash this thing.
Yeah.
We're going to crash.
I'm 30. I know that you're like 24. Let's go to my old high school prom together.
Let's do it. Let's make it happen. Kia, that we've talked about before, who asked our advice as far as to what to do to ask Justin Herbert to prom. I guess something worked. I don't know. I don't think it was us that necessarily helped her. But,
definitely not. Our advice was go join the country club that he plays golf at. And I don't think that did it.
I don't think
it's hard because he plays all over, so you never quite know where he's going to be at. It's tough.
Right.
That's bad advice. Sorry, Kia.
She did reach out on Twitter, and the Chargers did respond. They said, hey, we have something for you from Justin. Send us your address so we can get it to you, please.
Dude, I hope you get like a helmet and like a jersey.
What if it's like
sign.
a cutout of him so she could take that to prom?
Dude,
and
like
one
of
a
those
tux.
Stanley things?
Yeah.
Or him holding his Offensive Rookie of the Year trophy, and she can just like carry that.
If he doesn't send that, we might have to pull some money together and send that to her so she can take him to prom, get some photos. Like when she holds his waist when they take the picture.
She's behind him.
Let's do it. I would love that.
Well, we haven't heard yet what it is that the Chargers are sending to Kia. So Kia, when you find out, please let us know.
We're all waiting on
dying to know.
I can't wait to find out what you get. So we're all very happy for you. We're sorry that it couldn't be Justin himself.
Yeah,
but you are getting something from Justin freaking Herbert. So congratulations. Okay, and this was also kind of Charger related, but not. So I got to go back. This was back on Saturday, February 12th. All of us are minding our own business.
I'm in line for a ride at Universal Studios.
Yeah.
And then this comes through.
All of a sudden, I get a text from Kyle to our group chat, our Charger Chat group chat, that says, I'm at a kid's birthday party with Chase Daniel right now.
True.
Kevin and I are just we
True story.
jaws on the floor. Like Kyle got to meet Chase Daniel, and Kyle follows it up. This is worst part. I agreed to dress up in the Paw Patrol costume for the kids. Kyle, what happened?
Yeah,
Wait, hold on. We can't. We're gonna wait and show this picture afterwards.
I want to.
Build up to
And
this.
go to YouTube for this. You're gonna want to see this shit.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Let's have him tell the story. I've already kind of.
Yeah. So this is just like a perfect storm, to be honest. So I knew I was going to my wife's cousin's daughter. So my wife's cousin's kids, basically like our niece and nephew. They were born like 11 months apart. So they have their birthdays at the same exact time. So we were planning to go to their birthday party the next day. So my wife gets a text like, hey, would Kyle be willing to dress up in a costume for the birthday party for all the kids? And like, that's something I would do. She asked that because like, yeah, Kyle would do that. It's not a big deal. He'd think it was funny.
He's a team player.
I would do it. Yeah, I'm a team player. I would do it for my kids. Like, I thought my boys would have a fun time seeing me dressed up as Chase from Paw Patrol. So I said yes.
How old is this kid, by the way? Do we know?
Yeah. So our family's daughter just turned 4 and son just turned 3. Yeah.
Okay.
So a 4-year-old and a 3-year-old.
Now, do you just have this sitting around, or did you have to rent?
No, she bought it. She bought it and ordered it. It's a full blown like go to Disneyland see type of costume. It was intense.
Oh shit!
Very hot, very serious costume. So I had agreed to it before I really thought into detail about the idea that our cousin is married to someone that has spent 10 years in the NFL, and there's probably going to be famous people at this birthday party, and I'm going to be dressed up like Chase from Paw Patrol. Sure. I don't know. I didn't put all of that together.
Well, it's a kid's birthday party. It's not like you're going there to dress up for Golden Tate as Paw Patrol.
Right.
That'd be weird.
Golden's 35th birthday, and I'm Chase from Paw Patrol. Right. Yeah.
I think your line of thought is reasonable.
I just hadn't considered who was going to be at the party. So I show up. We're with the kids. We're in the bounce house. All of a sudden, obviously, Chase Daniels walks in. I'm like, oh, that's like crazy that he's here. Like, should I talk to him, tell him about my podcast, get him on the podcast? I got too scared to do all of that stuff. So we just watched our kids jump in the bounce house. And then all of a sudden, Elise, my wife's cousin, is like, hey, Kyle, it's time. I was like, time for what? What are you talking about? Time for what? What are we doing? I had completely
You've got
forgot.
a song and dance number, my friend. I sent you the choreography steps.
I didn't even think about, I forgot about the fact that I had to dress up like Chase from Paw Patrol. so I go get dressed up in the full-blown costume as Chase from Paw Patrol. I come out, I'm like, hey, kids. I do the whole thing. We sing happy birthday to the kids, and I'm like standing right next to the cake. they do like a dog, like they're all bear crawling race, and I'm running next to them in the full Chase costume. and then the worst part of the whole thing is at the end when I'm done, like I did my job. Like I
did my job.
I agreed to do these things. I did it. I couldn't see out of this costume because the eyes were like this far apart. So I had to like pick one to look out of. I asked my sister-in-law to help walk me to the room that I was going to go change back into my normal clothes. She's like literally holding my hand as if I can't see where I'm going. Chase Daniels comes out of nowhere, like a free safety on an angle to stop me from scoring a touchdown. And it's like, hey, can my daughter get a picture? And I'm like, yeah, I guess.
Of course.
I'm like, of course. Yeah, I'll be Chase for your daughter, I guess. But then she sees me and she gets scared. So then Chase Daniels and her daughter take a picture with me. So all that to say, Chase Daniels asked to take a picture with me at this birthday party.
That is glorious. Let's take a look at the photo here.
Here it is. Yep. That's me. That's me.
Oh, My God.
Shit,
Yeah.
Kyle. This is my favorite picture I've ever seen in my life.
Guys. I don't know whether it was one of my proudest moments or my most embarrassing moments.
Oh, God.
Pretty high up there in both categories.
As soon as you sent that picture, I died laughing. That is the best thing
Oh, God.
ever. That is so freaking funny. Like
Yeah.
But you got a picture with the charger. You got
a
one, but you'll
picture
never
with the
know it
charger.
was you.
Yeah, he'll never know. Yeah. Well, he knows. He knew. Everyone knew.
He knows.
Because I came back to the party with a sweaty shirt. I was dripping from being in that costume.
oh man.
Chase
Yeah, he
needs a drink.
Yeah. No joke. Several people offered me a drink when I got back because they're like,
Good.
"Oh man, thanks for doing that. You need a drink, huh?" And I was like, "No,
Oh.
fine."
Well, there you
good
go.
work,
So you were
Kyle.
appreciated at the very least.
Everyone
So
knew
you-
the sacrifice.
So the only time that you even talked to him was in costume. You didn't talk to him after the fact or anything?
No, like a little bit here and there when our kids were like doing games and playing and stuff.
Okay,
It was just
fair
talking
enough.
about the kids, but yeah,
Okay.
I didn't want to bug him at the kid's birthday party.
No, that's fair. That's
Yeah.
fair. Well, that is such a great story.
That might have to
is-
be our profile picture for like the day this episode comes out. That's going to be
Oh,
our,
easily.
our
Toss it
profile
up there.
picture on
Yeah.
Twitter.
Toss it up there.
Just
Absolutely.
one day only. You'll be like, what the does this mean? Oh God, that's so great, Kyle.
That
I
is
love
so
it.
cool. Yeah, dude,
Chase.
you got a picture with the charger before any of us. I
You're
mean,
now
I've never-
Kyle the Chase Duggan. You're getting a
There
week
you
of the Kyle the Chase.
There you go. I love it so much.
So good.
All right. Well, all right. Let's take a step. Oh, God, my head hurts from laughing so much. But folks, don't forget to go on over to chargerchat.com to check out some of the sweet stuff we've got over there. We've got member sections for you guys to chat it up with each other, other Charger Chatteteers. But go check it out, chargerchat.com with, hoodies, shirts, stickers, all that good stuff over there. And see what everybody else is doing. All the cool kids are hanging out at chargerchat.com. I think you should too. And now it is time to go on to the next segment. You know them, you love them. It's the Greg Experience.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Come on in, man. Kick your feet up.
Oh,
Greg Experience.
hello there.
Make yourself at home. We got some stuff to talk about, right? Moving on.
So now that football's over, officially, you have to find other things to do with your Sundays. I have my kids, my wife, they have more of dad and husband. So lots of honeydews and dad, can we go and can we have, and it's all good. And then when you get a little break here and there, you still have to find some way to fill in the gaps. And so I decided to join a Sunday basketball league with a bunch of other dads in their late 30s, some over 40. And you learn very quickly that regardless as to how good of shape you're in, once you get closer to 40, some things just don't work exactly the same as they used to. My knees are screaming today. Just thought you all might want to know. CC gang, big old salute. And to the rest of the boat fam, what is going on? It's your guy Craig in Texas, and welcome to another edition of the Craig Experience. Okay guys, go with me here. I promise you I'm not trolling. I wouldn't do it to you. I care about you guys too much. But it is in fact the most wonderful time of the year. And I know a lot of y'all thought that was Christmas, but it's not so. It's actually the NFL offseason. What you talking about, Craig? I know, right? Like, there's no football going on, but hear me out. We have now reached the point where hope springs eternal. Everyone starts from zero. We can all look at a path to a Lombardi trophy from a fan standpoint, of course, because we all start from zero now. And if our teams make the right moves here or there, really anyone can come from nothing to something. I mean, just look at the Bengals. It can happen. And we are nowhere near in the crisis that they were 2 years ago. I mean, do we have our own issues? Of course, but it's nothing that can't be resolved with a lot of cap space and 11 draft picks, which you've maybe heard me say this before. Picks should be looked at as currency. We're not going to be spending all 11 of those bad boys in the draft. It should be maneuvered, traded, whatever it is you got to do to bring in some maybe solidified talent. Not just be looking for guys to groom and promote into roles, because this team is maybe, yes, very top heavy, but it has a lot of the key pieces necessary to make a run to a championship. Just got to do what you have to do to fill out the rest of your roster and supplement the rest of that bad boy with guys who can come in and contribute in a major way right now, not in a couple years, like now though. Which leads me to free agency. And hey, forewarning, people, prepare yourselves. Probably about a 90% chance that one or two of your favorite players on the team, people, guys, cats that you may have developed an attachment to, may not be back next season. And it won't be because they don't deserve to be. It'll be more about money. What time has shown in the past is that some guys, there is a specific number that he won't go above for. And if another team's offering them more bread, he'll let them walk, and he won't put up much of a fight to get them. You might just have to grin and bear that. But here's some rationale behind it that might make it a little bit more palatable. We currently have $57 to $62 million in cap space, I believe. That depends on where you look. And all signs point to Brian Bulaga getting cut at some point, and I think that's like an additional $10 million. And man, you got some bread to play with at that point. You can bring in some high quality talent. And I know a lot of people look at the way that the Rams constructed their roster and they think, hey, maybe the Chargers should try that. No, trust me, never gonna happen. The thought of that probably makes Tom Telesco break out in hives. He's going to do the more rational thing. He's going to bring in signings that make sense, going to spend logical amounts of money for it. It'll all be quite prudent. But here's the way that I look at it. I'd say that you can at least get 2 to 3 mid to high level names off of the market to come in and be immediate impact contributors. And you use the rest of that bread, or a chunk of it, to get some, maybe mid-tier players, some guys who can come in and add quality depth to your roster so the team's not so freaking top-heavy. I mean, it sounds rational to me. It also sounds a lot like what Tom Telesco might do this offseason, hopefully. And then from that point, you're cooking with something, because then you can go into the draft and, you can maneuver those 11 picks however you want. I don't expect them at all to try to use them all in the draft. I wouldn't be surprised if they get packaged for a player or two, or for them to move up into the draft for higher picks. Whatever. There's just a lot to take from that and be able to utilize to help build the team out. There's really no reason not to do it. It's like all there to be done. It's like the perfect storm. It's time. It's got to happen. So that's just kind of my opinion in regards to the way that free agency should be handled. But what the hell do I know? Fellas, here is my question for you for this week. Give me the player that you want most via free agency. Who do you think will have the biggest impact? Who's the guy that you can't live without come March 16th when the party kicks off? Let me know how you feel about it. Till next time, good people, it is Mr. TOPFLYT3 over on Twitter, and catch me on the flight deck and Charge It to the Game on YouTube. Y'all already know what it is. It's Mr. Bowganger Don't Bang. Catch y'all on the next one. K, love you, bye.
The Craig experience. One of my favorites.
Craig. So naturally cool every time.
I really want to meet him soon. Like, we got to figure this shit out.
Oh my God.
We gotta pull it together.
Just hanging with Craig and just shooting the shit.
Just hanging with Craig. Sounds like a sitcom.
That'll be our next segment.
Hanging with Craig. Good question. For me, like, when you asked that, I started like, okay, who do I want? Like Von Miller, Akeem Hicks, like one of these guys everyone's talking about. Like, let's get him on the Chargers. Let's do it. There's a guy that was just on the Chargers that is now a free agent. I know that's kind of a bullshit answer, but I want Mike Williams back. He's my number one free agent right now. That's what I want back.
Right.
What he did for me as a fan this last year, and I'm just being selfish. You can talk about like what other people could bring him in. I loved watching him play. It was such a blast. Just from that selfish point of view, I want Mike Williams back.
Well, I think you've also kind of talked about. I think you made a good point in the last episode as far as like, and I think Kyle probably made it as well, is just what other free agent out there is going to fit the needs of Mike Williams that already knows the playbook, that already has the relationship with Herbert, and is going to perform just as much, if not more. Mike Williams, absolutely seems like the right move. So I even though you're saying it's from a selfish standpoint, I think that's the smart move for that position. So
yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think I want Mike Williams back too.
Yes.
I do think that was a little bit of a cop-out answer because you're not looking at anything else.
But we all agree. We want Mike Williams back.
Yeah.
I thought it was a good answer, actually.
I think the offense was shy of an elite tight end. I think we had a decent tight end play this last year in the combination of like 4 or 5 guys all at once.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we all missed having that Hunter Henry type of do-it-all tight end that could have elevated us, especially in that red zone area. And I think our guys did okay. They're not the reason why we weren't successful, but I think we could be that much better with a solid tight end. And so I don't know why this guy, maybe it was because he just burned us. He had a great game when we played him last year. But David Njoku from the Browns, he's now a free agent. I don't know. He's just burned into my head right now as a potential to be like a blow up kind of star if he were to get surrounded by Justin Herbert.
Look what happens, when a catcher that is catching balls from Baker Mayfield goes somewhere else. Like what happens? Like, is he holding him back? Like how good could that guy be? I'm kind of into that.
Well,
you see Odell Beckham go to the Rams and catch how many touchdowns in how many games and go to the Super Bowl, and he had an outstanding first half to that Super Bowl before he got hurt.
Right.
So yeah, and you don't get necessarily a fair shake in that Cleveland offense where they run the ball 80% of the time, and the only other time they throw the ball is on play action deep shot. So how much is their tight end going to be involved? So I think put that David Njoku athletic freak with the size and strength that he has in our offense, I think it could be a pretty cool fit.
Absolutely. The guy that I would pick, and I picked this guy only because I've heard his name getting brought up. I'm not as familiar with his play style or anything like that, but he was one of the bigger price points, I think, in this free agency that could potentially come to the Chargers with us having the money to spend. I think defensively, we can all agree that if defense was just better last season, we would have moved a little bit further. We would have, kept teams to lower points, and we would have definitely had more wins go our way. And I think part of that has to do with the defensive line. And we all saw how often Joey Bosa was getting double teamed. He needs somebody on that other side to take the pressure off so Joey Bosa can be Joey Bosa. And so my guy that I would really like to see make it, and I think could really be the game changer for us, is going to be Dante Fowler, defensive end. I think that is somebody that and honestly, even not necessarily specifically Dante Fowler, I just know the guy is obviously really good at that position. And so getting somebody in that position to offset Joey Bosa and take some of that pressure off, I think that's going to be a night and day difference for the defense and getting more pressure on the quarterback. I know the run seemed to be the bigger area of opportunity this last season, I should say. But I think that's where first and foremost go there. Because I think that's honestly going to be probably the most expensive position, period, as far as holes on the defensive side. I mean, I don't know. Is there a higher paid position, do you think, on the defense, Kyle, that would supersede a defensive end?
No, right now that's our pure pass rusher is what we need. Absolutely what we need on the other side. Yeah.
Yeah. So
get behind that for sure.
All right. Well, there you go, Craig. I think you made a lot of great points. I think, that was the other thing that I didn't even think about, was that trading draft picks for free agency players, like not just moving up or moving back in the draft, but like, hey, we need to get a player. Well, let's trade some draft picks.
Take this 5. Give me something.
Yeah. So I think that's absolutely the opportunity there. And hopefully We see that from Tom Telesco. But Craig, as always, buddy, thank you for coming on and
Appreciate
sharing
you,
your words of wisdom, man. And thoughts and prayers to your knees, buddy. I hope they hope you ice them up real good. And at the very least, you'll get some more PS5 playtime.
There you go.
All right. Well, now we got to go on to the next segment. It's another Charger Chat alum. It is time for Bolt History.
It's getting cold in here, guys.
It's getting cold. Oh, boy.
Remember like it was yesterday. In comes this whirlwind, Don Coryell.
So see the San Diego Chargers and see spectacular professional football at its best.
Into the end zone, Charger fans are witnesses to history!
What's up, Bolt Gang? Welcome back to Bolt History. I am your Charger Chat historian, Mike Modlin, and today we are going to be covering the Freezer Bowl. You know, we can't just do the good history here. We have to cover all the history in order to be fair to our beloved Bolts. The Freezer Bowl was the game that was played right after the Epic in Miami. The Chargers won against the Dolphins in the Epic in Miami, and then they traveled to Cincinnati for the Freezer Bowl on January 10th, 1982. The broadcasting team was Dick Enberg and Merlin Olsen. It was on NBC. It was played at Cincinnati's Riverfront Stadium. And keep that in mind, the Riverfront Stadium part, because that plays a factor later on in this story. With a temperature at kickoff of minus 9 degrees, and a 59-degree wind chill. It was dubbed the Freezer Bowl for obvious reasons, and it was the coldest game in NFL history. Still is recognized as the coldest game in NFL history. Now, if you think about that, they went from a temperature of 88 degrees in Miami and high humidity, obviously, and then they went to Cincinnati, where the air temperature with a 29-mile-an-hour wind gust was minus 59 degrees. That is a temperature swing of 147 degrees. That's a lot. And despite it being really, really sunny that day, the Riverfront Stadium felt colder than the inside of a meat locker. The Bengals coach, Forrest Gregg, had also played in the 1967 NFL championship game that was dubbed the Ice Bowl. So he was kind of used to this, the frigid conditions. And he actually pulled some tricks that they used in Green Bay against the Chargers. And we'll talk about that in a little bit as well. Inside the locker room before the game, the players pulled on pantyhose and layered saran wrap in between layers of socks for better insulation. And in order to psych out the Chargers, because they were from San Diego, the Bengals offensive and defensive linemen decided not to wear sleeves to psych out the Chargers because it was so cold. They would, think, wow, these guys are crazy. They're not even wearing long sleeves. The reasoning was also because it gave our defensive linemen and our offensive linemen something or nothing that they could grab onto. They couldn't grab onto the long sleeves to either shed blocks and things like that. Knowing that the Chargers were from the West Coast, one of their offensive guards, Dave Lapham, remembered that all the players on the Chargers side were bundled up with stocking caps and had face masks on and hoods and hand warmers and stuff. And so he said, let's use the cold to our advantage and psych them out a little bit. So, like I said, they went without sleeves, but the officials also said that you could put Vaseline on any exposed skin to protect yourself, right, from frostbite and things like that. So the Bengals loaded their arms up with Vaseline. It was an advantage when defenders tried to grab you or swipe at you and grab your arms and things like that. Before taking the field, Forrest Gregg told his players to try to forget about the cold. It's like going to the dentist. You're going to have to endure some pain. You got to go out there. You got to get it done, right? So just do it. In the fans, the fans grew numb in the stands. They all had cold weather gear and all that stuff, and you could barely hear them when they cheered because of all this muffling stuff going on. And they even had 13,000 fans who had tickets for the game who stayed home because they didn't want to be in that cold weather. It was a 60,000 seat stadium, but lots of them also couldn't get to the game because their car batteries were dead or they just decided not to be in the cold. And they didn't want to be known as the Bungles anymore. And the fans that did come, weren't going to miss seeing their team play for a chance to go to the Super Bowl. The Chargers had a big issue with turnovers in this game. They struggled in the Freezer Bowl with the freezing temperatures, of course. And on the opposite side, the Bengals started hot. Forrest Gregg remembered how their quarterback was able to throw passes in the cold weather in the Ice Bowl, and it seemed to be a better solution than running the ball, which seems counterintuitive. But he allowed his quarterback, Ken Anderson, to throw the ball. And Ken Anderson at this time was an 11-year veteran, and he had a pair of gimpy knees and allowed him to pass. To begin the game, the Bengals started off with a 51-yard drive that ended up in a field goal. They went up 3-0. The Chargers fumbled the ensuing kickoff, and then Ken Anderson threw a touchdown pass to tight end ML Harris. And if you watch in the video, you'll see that ML Harris has the same leather gloves on that he wore to the stadium that day just to try to keep his hands warm. On the sideline, they had coffee dispensers lined up right next to the Gatorade. And the players sat on 150,000 BTU propane-fueled benches that had been shipped from Philadelphia, and the players huddled around more than a dozen kerosene-fueled heaters on the sidelines. During timeouts, some of the referees got a little bit too close to the heaters. One of the other referees asked back judge Jim Poole, "Dude, you smell something burning?" And the referee looked at his shirt and realized his shirt was on fire, and it was him. The football was actually really, really slippery and hard as a rock because of the cold weather. After a terrible 27-yard punt, our punter, George Roberts, went back to the sideline and said, "It's like kicking a cinder block." A 36-yard field goal attempt by Rolf Benerschke didn't even reach the uprights. On the stadium's really unforgiving artificial turf, which even on warm days was hardly any comfort, it was like throwing a rug on a concrete floor is what they said, and it was so frozen that players said they felt like they were being tackled in a parking lot. Even breathing caused some issues. When players exhaled as they ran, it threw up a cloud of smoke in front of their face, and it just basically froze in front of them. After the game, a person that you all probably know, Chris Collinsworth, he was a wide receiver for the Bengals at that time and in the game too. He said, "When you went to catch the ball, your breath would come up and form a smoke screen in front of your face." The Chargers responded to Cincinnati's early lead with a 33-yard touchdown pass to Kellen Winslow. But then a 40-yard kickoff return set up a Bengals touchdown that gave Cincinnati a 17-7 lead. Two successive drives into Cincinnati territory ended with the Chargers Hall of Fame quarterback Dan Fouts tossing interceptions, one of which happened in the end zone. After a brief halftime thaw, the Chargers remained cold in the second half. On the opening drive, Chuck Muncie fumbled, and the Bengals took over the advantage of the turnover with a field goal. The bitter cold and Cincinnati's stout defense grounded the Chargers' high-flying offense, and ice crystals formed on Dan Fouts' beard. And the 35-mile-an-hour wind gusts at this point made his passes flutter like butterflies all over the field. And I saw, if you watch the Freezer Bowl, it is also available on YouTube for free to watch. The same thing happened to Ken Anderson a few times as well. The wind was no joke. But a fourth quarter touchdown throw from Ken Anderson to tight end Don Bass sealed Cincinnati's 27-7 win in its first trip to the Super Bowl. You would have thought it was a spring afternoon. Chris Collinsworth said of Ken Anderson's play. He said it was one of the single most greatest performances I've seen from a quarterback in the history of the NFL. Dan Fouts and special teams ace Hank Bauer both suffered frostbite in their fingers and toes. Kellen Winslow also suffered frostbite in one of his toes. There were no special gloves or kind of any socks or any special cold weather gear like today's athletes have access to. The home team's advantage, though, it wasn't just for the fact that they were used to playing in the cold weather. The freight entrance to the stadium, where teams entered upon arrival to the game on game day, it overlooked the Ohio River. Directly across on the interior was the entrance to the playing field. Large roll-up gates on either side served to seal the stadium from the outside. When the Chargers were on offense, the stadium crew would open those gates, and all that wind from the Ohio River came rushing into the stadium, allowing the wind to howl throughout the entire stadium, making conditions even more miserable. And then when the home team had the ball, the gates were closed, providing an extra ounce of ease in which to operate for Ken Anderson and the Bengals. Some fun facts about the game is that Vaseline the Bengals put on their arms ended up coagulating. It was so cold. The Bengals players couldn't get their cars. Some of the players couldn't get to the game because their cars wouldn't start. There were 4 Hall of Famers playing in that game. Tackle Anthony Munoz for the Bengals, and then, of course, Dan Fouts, Charlie Joyner, and Kellen Winslow. The game prior to this, when Cincinnati won against the Buffalo Bills, was their first playoff victory ever in their history. That is it for this week's edition of Bolt History. As a reminder, stay bolted. Gay love you, bye.
What a nightmare.
That would be miserable.
That would be
So
the
bad.
worst. Like,
How unfair was that they opened the gates?
Yeah, that's horseshit.
Lame.
Yeah, there should be an asterisk on that win.
Home field advantage, but come on, like that's ridiculous.
Oh man, just just it's so
and
bad.
Collinsworth, you suck. Like, shut up.
Sucked in, sucked
Best
now.
performance you've seen. Shut up.
Yeah, come on.
Whatever.
Yeah, geez, it just sounds so terrible, but crazy to have that kind of documentation about like the accounts of the game about the ball being as hard as cinder, the ground
shirts on fire.
Yeah, shirts on fire. Fans not even being able to get there, cars not starting,
smoke screens.
Right. It's that is pretty awesome, dude. So Mike, thank you for taking a look at the Freezer Bowl.
You're the man.
They can't all be shining stars, but boy, what a historical event that was for the Chargers to be a part of. So awesome. All right. Well, I think that is going to do it for this episode of Charger Chat. Gentlemen, any parting thoughts?
It's good to be back this week. It was fun. I had a blast.
Who's on the case?
Chase is on the case.
All right.
Paw Patrol.
All right, folks. That's going to do it for us here at Charger Chat. Don't forget to bolt up because we're ready for any squad, any place.
Okay, love you. Bye.
Okay, love you. Bye.
Okay, love you. Bye.